Hello, it's Maryon Stewart, and I wanted to come on today and answer some of your questions, as there's been quite a few, and I've been swapping continents. I went back to London for a little while to do some work and see my family, and now I'm back in New York because my husband's in hospital, so I'm based here for a while. But the thing that has disturbed me a bit this week, which has kind of thrown me off what I was planning today, because I was going to answer your questions and spend about half an hour doing that today. So I've decided I just wanted to address the fact that there were some posts this week about women who were feeling suicidal, and there was quite a thread about that. And since I've been running this group, that hasn't happened before. So I just wanted to talk a bit about my experience and to give you, certainly the women who are feeling desperate at the time of the menopause, a bit more help and guidance about what you can do, because it is a very scary time for some women. And it really does make me feel bad that women are suffering in such an extreme way, feeling like it's the end of the road for them, and certainly the end of life as they knew it, and that they don't realise that there's anything that can be done. And very often they don't get reassurance from their doctor, because the doctor really isn't trained about alternatives to drugs and hormones and so on. And it's just really difficult that you're in the situation and you don't know how to deal with it, and feel that that there's no point in going on. So one of the things that I wanted to say first of all is that you're not alone, and it does happen to lots of women. I did put a post of a film that I made with some of my patients in that thread, because it occurred to me, I was thinking about it afterwards, that out of, I think there were 5 or 6 women in that film, and at least 4 of them were suicidal when I met them. So it is something I see all the time, and I do hear about all the time. It isn't something that women often share. And as you can see, if you saw that thread, the person who posted it said that she was probably going to take the post down afterwards. So she's obviously been brave enough to post it. And lots of you leapt in and gave her some reassurance, but obviously a lot of you are feeling the same way that she was feeling, and so that made me think, well, really, I should be talking about that rather than answering questions about how you lose weight or deal with your headaches, which I'm going to do tomorrow. So I've decided I'm going to come back on tomorrow at 5 o'clock UK time, so that will be noon for me, and I'll deal with a whole load of questions then. But I didn't feel right about coming on and answering your questions when I felt there was something so major going on with some of the women in the group, and I just want to address that. So if you've been to one of my masterclasses, you'll know that I talk a lot about nutritional deficiencies. So in the early days, we treated women with PMS, and we found that very often they had low levels of important nutrients. So for example, magnesium was in short supply, between 50 to 80%, and other nutrients like B vitamin, zinc, iron, vitamin D, essential fatty acids, calcium were also often in short supply. So what happens then is that the brain and the nervous system require those nutrients in order to operate normally and to send out the right kind of messages at the right time of your cycle. So excuse me, I've just been out in the freezing cold. My nose is running, so I'm going to deal with that. So when you've got low levels of nutrients, it's really hard for you to function normally. And then you've got the falling levels of estrogen, which again, it's like a double whammy. It just makes it really, really hard for you. So what you need to do above everything else to get yourself better in the longer term is to make sure that your nutrients are back into an optimum range, and that you've got naturally occurring estrogen in your body regularly. You can do that through food and through supplements. And I talk much more about that at the masterclass, how you actually do that. But when you've got nutritional deficiencies, you see the world through different coloured lenses. So instead of the normal rose-tinted lenses, you're looking through really dark lenses, and it makes the world seem a very difficult place sometimes, especially if you've lost your libido, you've lost the communication between yourself and your partner, you're fighting, arguing, struggling at work, and you can't really make sense of anything that's going on in your life. So obviously, if you feel suicidal, it's important to go to your doctor and talk it through, maybe get some counselling. But in my experience, there is absolutely no substitute for correcting the nutritional deficiencies, because that will help you to feel so much better. It's like when you've got low levels of nutrients, it's like having a bucket with a hole in it. You're never going to fill it up again unless you fill the hole. And so that's what we're trying to do. There is in the files in the group, there's a little nutritional assessment. So you can go and check out whether you've got the signs and symptoms of low levels of those important nutrients. And if you can, then there are food lists in there so you can see which foods are rich in those important nutrients. And you can take supplements like Fema 45 Plus, which is the multivitamin and mineral that we use, that helps to get your levels back into an optimum range. But you need to be doing lots more things besides that. You need to be making a gratitude list and capturing everything on that list that you're grateful for. So at times when you feel so low, you can remind yourself that there are important things to live for. You need to be doing some exercise. And if you can't exercise because you're not fit enough or you're not well enough, then you need to vision that you're exercising, because the research shows that you can get a similar benefit. So that will release endorphins, the feel-good hormones, to make you feel a bit better. You need to make sure you're not skipping meals and that you're eating little and often. And you need to eat foods that are rich in naturally occurring estrogen. And you need to talk. So if you are feeling absolutely desperate, you can post it in the group if you like, but tag either myself or Julie Whittaker, because we will talk to you, we'll talk you through it. I don't want anyone feeling that it really is the end of the line, because it isn't. This is just a transition in your life, and if you've got the right knowledge and the right tools, you can get right through this to the point where you feel better than you can remember. So the depression will be gone completely. If you're taking antidepressants, then obviously you can't take the herbal products, but if you aren't taking antidepressants, you can try some St. John's wort, and that is used more commonly by doctors in Germany than antidepressants. So that's another thing that you can do for yourself. There are lots of things that you can do. We're here, and it's only a phone call away or an email away, and you can get some help, and we'll come to your rescue. I want you to know, I set this group up to help women to transition through the menopause, and those people that are suffering really severely, obviously, I don't want you all jumping in and telling them to try this, that and the other, because it may not work. And if you're contemplating suicide, that's a very serious matter. So I want people to know that there is proper help and guidance, and obviously there are things like Samaritans if you are completely desperate, but we are not far away from you either, and we are here to help. So please do support each other with love and kindness, but not necessarily with advice, because I don't want women to feel that they are going to be trying 20 different things hoping that they're going to get over their symptoms. I want to focus on the science-based things that you can do to seriously overcome symptoms, because that's what's been shown to help over the years. So please carry on supporting each other. Know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't feel desperate. I know that menopause can drive you to be desperate, especially if you're working as well and juggling and everything has changed in your life. But it is a new beginning, and if you learn how to meet your needs, you will find that you feel better than you can remember. I will post, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll post some of the case history films so you can see how the women who felt suicidal feel completely better, go on to have new careers, have amazing relationships, get their self-esteem back, lose weight without dieting, forget about menopause, you're past it, and you are feeling that you've turned back your biological clock and feeling so much better than you can remember. So that's what this is about, and there's lots of help. So please don't feel that you're on your own. Please don't feel desperate and that it is the end, beginning of the end, because it isn't. It's the beginning of a whole new beginning. So I'll see you tomorrow, and I will call through and take some of the questions. Obviously won't be able to answer them all, but if you haven't signed up for my masterclass and you want to, it's just maryonstewart.com/masterclass, and there'll be another masterclass, live masterclass coming soon. Okay, have a good weekend, and hopefully that will give those of you that are a bit desperate a bit more help and support and just reassurance that you can get through this.